Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sisters. The message that she sent to me translates like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am only aged 32 years old, but I already have 4 kids. I have these 4 kids of mine with different fathers. I grew up staying with my own auntie, who was my father's sister. Even when I returned from South Africa, coming back to Zim, it was because of the things that had happened there in South Africa. When I arrived in South Africa, I was really desperate. Then my other cousin sister, she then told me that she had this other man who was a policeman who was looking for a maid. I went there and I started staying with that man, but he had his wife who was a nurse but working in another province. This man, he then started telling me that he was in love with me and his wife was cheating on him, and he wanted me because I seemed innocent and faithful. But there is a dark secret that I could not tell him. I fell in love with this South African man, but it hurts me a lot because I knew that the more that he was making love to me, the more that he was cutting away the years that he was supposed to live. What happened to me, Brother Nash, is that from grade 5, when I started staying with my auntie had given me these other black garments. He gave me 2 black garments and he gave me 2 more red garments. Each and every night when I would go to bed, I would not use your normal blanket, but I will take all of these garments that she had given me, then I will sleep and I will never get cold. But the dreams that I will be having, they were quite scary. I even met Satan himself in my dreams one night, and my auntie, she was standing in a circle with these other witches, and it was quite terrifying. And what started happening was that when my auntie gave me some food to eat, she gave me a plate of food to eat, and she told me that from that day, anyone that was going to make me to be angry, that person will have misfortunes or bad luck in his or in her own life. Then the next day, when I went to school, this was when I was in Form 4, there was this other teacher of ours, but she was a temporary teacher. She was our geography teacher. She was heavily pregnant at that time, in those days when there was too much political violence. And this lady, when she came to our class teaching us, since our main teacher, our geography teacher, he was also on strike when the teachers were having their strike, so we were being taught by these temporary teachers. I don't know why I hated her. I just hated her for the way that she looked. She was beautiful and she was like a yellow bone and very beautiful. I hated her for that simply because I am dark-skinned. Why I hated her, I do not know. From the moment that she stepped into our classroom, when she introduced herself to us, and then I started to hate her just like that. On that same day, Brother Nashi, I cursed her and I cursed the baby that was growing inside her womb. And after school, she was already admitted in the hospital. She just collapsed and she started screaming. Then when she was taken to the hospital, she was then told that her baby had died, and the following morning she died. They said that the way that she died, the doctors had never seen such a thing because her heart exploded. I think it was because of the stress. Brother Nashi, when I heard the news that this woman that I had hated so much, she had passed away, including the baby that she was carrying in her womb, I went and I sat down with my auntie about this issue, and my auntie said that the food that she gave to me, that food had been cooked by the devil himself. So anyone that will go against me, anyone that I'll be hating, any enemy of mine will die or will be facing some kind of a misfortune in their life. After I had wrote my exams and failed, I then started staying with another man. I just stole this guy. He was staying with his wife in that same community where we were staying. The guy, he was a mechanic, so he was making a lot of money, and he was taking care of me and my auntie. I can say that he was the one who was responsible for feeding the whole family. And when his wife came and complained to my auntie later in the evening, I woke up and I saw that I was surrounded by my auntie and her friends who were all witches. And they told me that I had the strength to destroy this woman. And the following day, when I woke up, I heard that this woman again, she was sick. Later on, she was taken to the village where she passed away. I kept on getting married and remarrying, but what started happening is that whenever I would fall in love with a guy, this guy, after having sexual intercourse with me, not using any protection, his manhood will get so swollen, including the balls, as if I would have given that man an STI. And the more that this man will be sleeping with me, the better his manhood will become. But that will result in the death of that man. All of those men that I had kids with, they all passed away. I then went to this other prophet who told me that he was going to assist me the next day when I returned to him. But the previous night I had a dream, and in my dream it was my auntie and her friends who were witches, and we were at a wedding. I asked my auntie whose wedding was this, and my auntie said, "Oh, you still remember that pastor, your pastor, the one that you went to, he's getting married tonight." And I said, "But he's already married." Then my auntie said, "No, he's going to get married in the spiritual realm so that he can start to work with us." And I then saw that the pastor, he was standing in front of the people that were gathered for his wedding, but it seemed as if he had been forced to be there. He was not even enjoying everything that was taking place. Then I saw that the earth opened up, the ground opened up, and out of the earth I saw that there came this other woman who looked more like a demon. So this pastor, on that same night, he was married to that demonic thing that came out of hell. When I returned back to that pastor, to my surprise, this pastor, the way that he was looking at me, he was actually lusting after me. We ended up making love inside that prophet's office, and I saw that no pastor or no prophet was going to assist me. I had my kids. That was when I came to South Africa. Like I told you, I then started staying with one of my cousin sisters who does not even know everything that happens to me. I then came to South Africa, like I told you, and I started staying with my cousin sister. As I was staying with my cousin sister, that was when she told me that there was this other man who was looking for a maid. I then started working for that man who was a policeman. And this man, like all the men that I associate with, I can't blame him, because he started to have a lot of dreams and he kept on dreaming about me until he proposed love to me. This man, when we started sleeping together, even his own manhood got swollen up, and his balls as well, they got swollen up. He asked me about this thing. He asked me if this was an STI that I had given him, and I denied everything, and I told him that we had to get some herbs so that he can drink. He asked me if we should not go to the hospital because this was like an STI, but I was scared. This is what my auntie told me. If any of these men, if I sleep with a man, then I will give this man this type of a disease. The moment that this man will go to the clinic, and if he gets any medication, then it means that he is going to die. So I tried to speak with this man because I loved him a lot. He was the one whom I tried to reveal myself to him, but I didn't tell him that, like, the truth that I am also a witch. But I tried to advise him not to go to the hospital. I went and I bought some herbs that I knew, and I tried to cook the herbs for him. I boiled some roots that I bought from this South African traditional healer, and I boiled and I made a herbal mixture for him. Then I gave him to drink. But when he was going to work, that was when he threw away that 2-liter bottle that was full of that herbal mixture, and he went to the clinic. The moment that he went to the clinic, he got an injection and he passed away. He never recovered. When he was at work, he called me and he told me that he was feeling really dizzy. He came back home, but when he came back home, whenever he was around me, he would feel a little bit much better, and he kept on having this desire to keep on making love to me. This is what happens when a man gets sick. He will keep on having this desire to have intercourse with me. So it is like that demonic force that is inside of me will make that man to have that desire to keep on making love to me, that I can infect that man that I'll be sleeping with even more. One day, I went with him to the hospital, seeing that this man, he was about to die, and I was scared that if this man dies, and people were going to think that I am the one who had killed him. So we went to the hospital after I had called an ambulance, for this was an emergency. He was taken to the hospital and he never recovered. He passed away, Brother Nash. And by the time that he passed away, it was as if there was something that had already started eating up his manhood. But physically, there was no one who saw this whole thing that was happening on his manhood. This is my confession, Brother Nash. It pains me a lot that I can't enjoy making love to a man. If I meet a man that I love, I stay away from that man as much as I can, for I know the damage that I will cause the moment that I will start to sleep with that man.